Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, very tired but dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest university, podcaster, and Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, and panoramic sequences.
I'm Daniel Burkholder, a software engineer and technologist currently immersed in generative AI and AR/VR technologies.
I'm Dave Ginsburg. I am the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast. I am passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in a real-world experience as a 27-year IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I learn new things about the Vision Pro every day.
Well, guys, it's been the reason we're so tired, except for Daniel, is all of us, and if you're watching the video, you can see all of us have our Macstock 9 shirts on. And before the show, Dave and Eric was like, "Oh, we've all got our shirts on," and I was like, "Yeah, it's the only one clean that I brought back from Macstock." So Daniel, we're going to try and I'm going to ask you kind of reaction questions when we talk about this, because this is similar to going to somebody's house and being stuck there after dinner where they're showing you all their vacation slides. So we're going to do, and I'm going to try and keep it focused to sort of our experience with the Vision Pro, because we did a Vision Pro meetup. Because I know other shows will talk about the experience as a whole, and I don't want to grab that away from them because they have because they do good work with it. So we'll stick within our lane and talk about Vision Pro. But I'm tired. I made the decision to not spend Sunday night there, and we finished Sunday night at 6:00. And I had a drive back to Ohio with two guys in the car. My son was one of them. And then I had another guest that came with us for the drive. But we had to drive like a bat out of hell to get back to Ohio, and then realized at Sundays in the evening along Interstate 80, there's no place to pull off and get anything to eat except, the service stations. And who knows how long the hamburger joint is going to be open at the next service station. So we did stop and did find something to eat at one of those. We decided not to get off the highway, because if we got off the highway, it would have been another hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes added onto our trip. So we got into Cleveland at around 2:00. Dropped off our guest, and then Will and I had to come back to Kent, Ohio, and my head hit the pillow around 3 a.m. So, and after a long drive like that, I was pretty tired. I also reacquired my bronchitis during the trip because my son likes to keep the room at 60 degrees. That's minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and keep it running all night long. So, that and just the conditions and the time and the lack of sleep, I think, brought back the bronchitis with me. So how was it for you guys in terms of just getting settled and getting back?
Well, I mean, mine was great because this morning I picked up, grabbed Chuck Joyner, his dear girlfriend Cindy, and Jeff Gamet, and we left the hotel and went over, had a really nice breakfast, and I brought Chuck over to the airport once we were done, and then Jeff came back to my place in my house, and we hung out for a bit, and then I brought him over to the airport. But it was a really good, really good morning. Other than the fact I had to move my car because I had to do a run last night, and then of course I lost the parking spot that was close by, but that's okay.
Yeah. Eric?
Well, let's see.
You just got home. You just got home, like right before the show.
A few minutes ago. Cletus and Brian and I had breakfast this morning. Brian evidently was up most of the night because people were still chatting downstairs. That party never ended.
I heard 4 a.m.
Yeah. They were watching people get up early for early flights and leave.
Jeez.
Well,
So
I'm sorry
Right.
I missed that part of it, but yeah.
yeah. So then dropped Cletus off at what's the airport?
Midway.
Midway.
Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
But
nice
then,
drive.
I still had a garden tour to do, so I went to the Japanese garden and took a couple of pictures, and then I started falling asleep, and so I said, "Well, I better drive home while I still could." That, and I looked at my watch and thought, I'm not going to make it if I take 2 more pictures. So, yeah. So I'm here in
So
body.
so at Macstock, I was going to say at the Macstock. At Macstock, we had, and for those of you who want to find out about it, it's macstockconferenceandexpo.com. I'll say that again at the end of the show, but if you want to kind of look at the site and see what happened there, we did a meetup for folks who were interested in Apple Vision Pro. And, I was surprised. Mike said, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I was a little surprised that as many people showed up because I thought, okay, we did this last year. The product has been out for a long time. People who are interested in it will be there. It will have already seen it. So why would they come and sit around a room with people with headsets on to see something that they've already seen? And they set it up so we were right after the last presentation and right into and people were going out to dinner and stuff like that. So it was quiet for a while, and then people got back from dinner, and the room was really full. I was really kind of surprised and pleased. Do you have
Yeah.
any ideas or anything to add to that?
Well, besides the fact that I was there, but no,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Oh, well, that explains so much.
Oh my God, I'm kidding. And besides the fact that that room was like, it was like a heat trap. Yeah, I think because we had 4 Vision Pros that can be demoed. Tracy and her daughter Mallory were there too. So, so I think that was a big plus having. And Tracy was a really good. I was listening to her. She was a really good
Yeah.
demoer. Jeez, I thought I kind of sucked, honestly. I couldn't get it after work. I'm asking you guys, why isn't this working?
And
So-
I kind of, yeah, I mean, it was interesting that people did start coming in, and I think they were fascinated by the new stuff it could do. Because a lot of them said, "Yeah, I had the demo, but
Yeah.
show me what it can do outside of the demo." And Eric was like the king of that because he set up
Yeah.
widgets around the room. And it was funny because there were like some preteen boys, and we were one wall
Oh,
was a glass
God.
wall, and some preteen boys while we're sitting
You're
there
getting
with
a lot of-
nobody making faces at us. And then after laughing and making faces and things like that, I guess Dave saw it. I didn't see it, but somebody put on their phone, "Can we come in?" And it was like, no, that's not the way to do it. So
No, the guy walked around to the door. I said, This is a private meeting. Go away." That's what I said.
They were
You hear that,
enthusiastic though, so
Just a little.
yeah, it worked out really well, and it was actually
Yeah.
kind of nice that the first part was quiet because normally if it's super super busy, we don't ever get a chance to talk to each other as we're
Right.
firing up things and trying stuff. And between the beta and a few little twitches and oddities and very minimal network, it was slightly more complicated than usual, so it was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had put pictures up on the wall, on one wall, and I had what are those things called? Those really wide pictures. Panorama.
Panoramas.
A panoramic
Panorama.
picture on one wall, and when you do
Yeah.
that with the widget, you can walk up to the window as if you're looking out the window, and you can look left and right and see more content. So it really kind of looks like a window. And then there was one wall that they had that had two paintings on it, and so then I put a widget with a picture between the two paintings, so that it looked like there were three paintings on the wall, which was neat. And then I think let's see, there was like a movie on oh yeah, a movie in the middle of the room, and I don't know, some image or app or something on the right hand side, and so people could get up and look at the different pictures and then walk around the room, and at one point you would have to walk through the window that had the movie in it. And as you're walking through,
Man.
you notice that the screen is like it is like 1 pixel. There's no size to it, no depth. And they would walk through and look at the picture, and then I said, well, turn around and then come look at the movie frame, because it's just a white screen then, because you're on the other side. And I said, then walk through it. And so then they get to walk through the movie and out the other side of the movie, and then turn around. And then we could continue the demo and take a look at a couple of samples playing, and so it's sort of a different an accidental different perspective in a demo, to be able to kind of interact with stuff kind of physically there. And then as you get through the demo and then you take the headset off, all of a sudden the room that you knew was there wasn't there anymore. The window was gone. It was just a white square. So it was sort of a neat effect.
See, I want to be like Eric when I grow up.
Me too.
That was a beautiful kind of
Yeah.
arrangement and experience. Dave, what kind of things did you do?
Yeah, well, I got one guy. He was like really interested in seeing one of the immersive videos. So I couldn't get the guest mode to work right away. I said, so it was asking for my passcode. I'm like, I'll just give it to you. I'm like, you're going to never touch my Vision Pro ever again. So he did that, and he watched Immersed for a little bit, and he was getting into it. And I said, I got it. I think it's, and plus the internet was horrible there. So because I didn't have that movie downloaded, so it kept freezing up. So I was using my hotspot, and then I got to 80% and then maxed it out within a matter of about 2 minutes. So then Brian Flanagan Arthurs was very kind. He was in with us, let me use his unlimited hotspot for a bit. So I forgot. I think it was Bill. His name was that tried it, and he really enjoyed it and got a good experience with it. And a couple other folks, and some I couldn't do. I just couldn't get the guest mode, and I decided to just do a description. So I was letting them look at my iPad while I had it on the screen and say, well, you can do this here and you can do this here, but you don't get the same effect, obviously, by doing that. So, but the guest mode is still, I think, really is a work in progress. It was a bit of a challenge for me to get it to go into play and get it to work.
Yeah, I didn't have problems with the guest mode, and I didn't have problems with the guest mode, and then but I had problems going from guest to guest, which meant things were problematic, and they had to, I had to shut down a couple of times and come back up for the next person, and then trying to find stuff I didn't think to load on it. I had movies, of course, loaded on it. And the one thing I wanted to do that we didn't do that was okay was to have like two of us working together in the same space, even if it's like showing a movie with two different folks. It was just, there was so much happening in a short period of time with so many people kind of getting in the queue to see what could be done next. I didn't do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to take them into the Trip app, but once they go into the guest, they don't have all the access, or they have to download each one of the experiences, and the internet was terrible. Why I left my two fully charged and fully paid for MiFis up in the room, I don't know. That would have helped us all in a lot of ways. But my most popular, like, people are like, Yeah, I want to see the Metallica video. I want to see the
Yeah.
Metallica. Well, actually, they
Huh.
were men my age and older, so they wouldn't talk like that. But one of them came up to me and said, "Your son told me that I should make you take the
Metallica.
Metallica video." And it was, and that was what they wanted to see. So that's what they got
Huh.
with it. So, okay, Daniel, I'm sorry. Any reaction you have to this or any questions you have about this?
No. I feel like I'm cosplaying listening to the podcast that I'm on at the same time.
That's good. So,
Uh,
have you done demos with anyone recently?
Me personally, no, and unfortunately I
No.
can't even because I still my partner can't see the Vision Pro right now. So I really haven't had any opportunity to give a demo, but I am at least absorbing how you guys are talking about it because giving a demo is hard. I mean, the times I have, it is really awkward, especially when the things get all glitchy. But I haven't had an opportunity to try. But it sounds like, well, like you're saying, it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that was what? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the widgets help a little bit because you can put out something that someone can see right away. Downloading, a couple of samples, that makes a huge difference because then it doesn't matter on the network. And then Apple has that sampler that they keep updating every week. Totally blanking on the name of the software.
Spatial Gallery?
Yes, thank you. And so you can have that like sitting there, but you needed to have made sure that you viewed the recent ones so that they actually are downloaded and cached. You get a little bit of time, and it's a little hard with adjustments. I found there in the beta, it's trying to let you use your phone to kind of set settings up.
Yeah.
Right. Even for the
And
guest.
for the guest, and I had better luck doing it manually instead of letting the phone do it. Because the phone would sometimes work or it would get started and then get stuck. And I don't think they've finished that process completely yet. It's not all fine-tuned. But it is beta. So, the idea I think is really cool. I'm hoping eventually you'll be able to store your settings on your phone. And then if somebody else lets you borrow it can just grab the same settings.
That
Yeah,
should be the thing with the enterprise APIs. I mean, and probably eventually cascade down to user level. But that is a thing coming, but for enterprise.
Yeah.
Right.
I had problems with the use your phone to complete the process, and I don't know if it was the setup, if it was a glitch in the system, it was the lousy internet that or subpar internet that we were on that made it much more difficult. And a lot of times I just punched through that, and they wound up doing the setup on their own, and it seemed to work for most cases.
And the people who did the full setup where they got the hands and they did
Right.
all the dots 3 times and all of that, they seem to have a more successful experience. The accuracy was better. Some people were coming in, it was just trying to hand the previous user's demo settings, and that did not work well.
And for me, the interesting part about that, doing the full setup with them, compared to other times I've done that full setup with people, or previous times, which might have been a year ago or more, they knew, kind of was intuitive. They knew what they needed to do. So there's something that's kind of moving through the tech culture that people are figuring out, and maybe they did the in-store setup. I don't know, but they came. It was much more easier to walk them through that. And they got on it and got in quickly. So I wasn't killing 10 minutes just to set it up so someone could do a 5-minute demo. So
I have a couple things I wanted to add once you're ready.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, first off, obviously, I fixed my Vision Pro from last week. That brought it to the Apple Store that next day, and I won't go into the entire long involved story, other than the fact it took them 2 times to restore it, and I was there for about close to 2 hours to get it done. But that's all set to go, and I'm very happy, and I got beta right back on it, so I'm right back up where I was, and I'm glad it worked. So, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my presentation. My presentation was on screen captures. In the Apple ecosystem. So, and specifically on Vision Pro, I did cover it. The fact of, I didn't do a lot of testing until I started doing this presentation for Macstock. That allowed me to demonstrate how you can do an actual screen share on your Mac. And that's what we were doing actually during the demo on our Macs, as well as I did it on my iPad too. I know, I think Eric, you did on your iPad too. Real easy to be able to not only share it, I was also able to record it using one of the other screen capture programs. In this case, I used Snagit to capture it. So I had a recording of it. I was able to put it into the presentation, because you know how live demos go. You crash and burn really quick when you do it, and that's what I did with my presentation throughout it when I needed it. Is did some really nice videos of what happened. So people were seeing me put my hand up everywhere and pinching and moving things around, but they saw the screen. So you do have a good experience sharing it, not only on your Mac or your iPad. You can even do it on your Apple TV too. So that was a lot of the things I reviewed across all the Apple platforms, but specifically for Vision Pro here, that it was a good experience, and I was glad everybody was able to see it, because there was interest, because people were really interested in how to share it. Not only with that, as well as I mentioned about the previous shows about the bezel, works really well with sharing it as well. So it works really well.
Yeah, your presentation, I'm going to say this is an inside joke. Please don't respond to it, Dave, other than laugh.
Okay.
Your presentation was so good that somebody decided to do it again during the conference.
Say no more. Although I did go back afterwards and said that we were both good companions. You complimented me, and I complimented you. So.
And we can talk about that off the show.
Yeah. No,
but when it was one of the, it was, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about that before I left, but I thought it was fascinating, and you did a very good presentation too.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was very nice, and I learned even more things. So that's
what I heard. A lot of great comments, a lot of great positive feedback. I was very happy.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Vision Pro, and Daniel. I hope you have. We only have like essentially 4 or 5 stories tonight, and I spent most of the conscious part of my day scrubbing and trying to find articles that would fall into it, and a large portion of them was just this redundant article that we'll talk about in a minute. In fact, the first thing, though, I want to talk about is something that we mentioned last week, which was Apple acquiring TrueMeeting to boost the Vision Pro kinds of qualities. And TrueMeeting is a firm engaged in developing digital avatar technology. And this article again came out with through Global Data was the source, actually through Yahoo. So any reactions? And what'd you say, Dave?
Sorry to interrupt. Yahoo Finance.
Yahoo Finance. So is there any things that you'd like? It's an Israeli startup called TrueMeeting. Any thoughts about this in terms of them trying to improve or use this for developing avatars/personas?
Well, I mean, I think this is something that Apple needs to really do, and they see the value of these smaller startup companies to be able to jump into this and improve on the avatars, improve on even the persona, because they like to keep things in house, but to bring this in house, and now they can take this technology and make it even more improved. I think is going to be a win-win.
Is there any thought that they may have already have used it?
That's what I was going to say. I'm really wondering. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if, like, you know, they like we're gonna buy you, but like let's get an agreement now for proprietary use of your exclusive use, use the word, of your technology while we're going through the motions to finish the acquisition. Makes me wonder if we already saw the jump or if there's another jump coming. Because I mean, I'm not to say it can't be better, but the current, if it stayed the way it is right now for a little while, I don't think I'd be crying.
Yeah.
Eric, any thoughts?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I was really curious to know if the big jump we already saw is at least partially due to that. Kind of one more thing, sort of going back to the Macstock. Ecamm was there, and spent some time with them chatting about how to be able to put an avatar in our our podcast here. So I am hoping for next week that I will be here as an avatar.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I listened to a lot of that conversation. Still didn't make sense to me. It was like, in terms of how you connect through, Zoom or whatever. And you and I asked the same fundamental question. Can't you just go into Vision Pro and open up the link to the place you're going, and you become your avatar becomes one, and background becomes one of the windows. And so,
And you can, but then there's the problem of what to do about the microphone. So if I want the microphone part, which is attached to the Mac, either I would have to switch to a different microphone, or I'd connect twice. It was trying to figure out how to do it so that the connection to you makes it look like I'm connecting now, so that you get the video and you get the audio, but it's in the same stream, so you don't have to do something weird when you receive it.
couldn't you use the audio out of your Vision Pro?
Yeah, I could,
Okay. All right.
but isn't the sound better from the microphone?
We don't know yet.
I
We don't
mean,
know
we
yet.
could try it a couple ways. So there may be some experiments going forward. But
Yeah,
I have an
nothing I like to do
immersive.
more than heavily edit a show, Eric. So let's.
Well, I mean, but we could do the experiments off show. And then when we
Okay.
get it working, roll it in. And I did go back. I spent extra time, so I saw it actually working correctly. Whether I can replicate it is a different thing, but I have a copy. Doc Rock did an immersive video and talked through all of the settings. And he said, if you get stuck, show this video to Marty.
Okay. Did did uh did he do it through Zoom?
Well, you said Zoom is built into Ecamm.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get.
Like
Yeah.
they have, it's a Zoom client in Ecamm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That I get. I've
So,
seen that.
sort of, it's always part of Zoom.
I don't know
Because
that.
to do the connection, I started up the Zoom client
Right.
in the Vision Pro, and then joined a Zoom session, and then all of a sudden I was sitting in Ecamm.
Yeah,
Right.
he showed me that. He showed me that. And so, yeah, okay. So I need to find the little thing that lets you in, or the Zoom session or I guess
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, Dave,
But
you know something about that?
oh,
Yeah, no, I mean, I went with it. I went through it with Doc and with Katie, that was there, and yeah, it's just basically a front end interface for you to start Zoom. So it's in the background. So when people join, they join up in the Zoom. You'll just move right over to Ecamm, and you don't even look at the Zoom interface. You're always going to be as the content creator, the producer. You're going to be looking at Ecamm because you're doing all the effects like you do now, where you
Right.
switch between us. Whereas the guest is going to be experiencing the Zoom experience. They won't even know. They'll see the graphics and everything, just like we are now in Ecamm, but they'll have the Zoom experience as opposed to coming here, because this can be tricky for some people, this Ecamm interface.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for next week, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
between now
I'm very
and then.
close to doing it myself here, so we're gonna be all jumping in here on Ecamm pretty soon. At least me, pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to maybe what should be our next set of stories, and that is about the stories that came out this week. And I'll tell you, I went through and searched, and this story was forever. Everybody is talking about. Now, there's one from Engadget, there's one from Ars Technica. Here's one from Spiral, which I thought was interesting because they basically, all of them are kind of citing Ming Chi Kuo / Mark Gurman.
Yeah.
Here's another one from Mac Daily News. Here's another one from Apple Insider. This one, at least they had the guts to name it, to put it rumor under it. And then 9 to 5 Mac is on board with this. And we'll get back to that.
At least they say it's still a few years away.
Yeah. So lots of articles talking about Apple Vision Pro with the new one is coming out supposedly, whether it's going to be in the fall or the spring, and it's going to have a more comfortable strap, apparently. If it's in the fall, the chip will be an M4. If it's in the spring, the chip will be an M5. That's what the rumors are.
Yeah.
What do you think? And you can't say, this is just a rumor, I don't pay attention to them. I kind of want your thoughts on this.
I think it's going to be an M4, whether it's in the fall or the spring. And the only difference will be if they delay it a little bit. The question I have is currently it's a M2 processor, but there's also that R1 coprocessor. What I'm curious about is if you do the M4, is that enough faster that it doesn't also need the coprocessor, or does it need the coprocessor too? Or is that why they're the extra cores?
Kind of wondering if they're going to use the same architecture, they're not going to necessarily pull the R1 out or the R2 out, whatever it is, just to throw in an M4 and leave an empty slot. So I think it's going to be both, just out of default.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense. They might be able to even do some testing then, as far as where stuff is getting routed.
Daniel, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, one, that while we know the current M2 is pretty maxed out, I still can't envision what we do with an M4. Not that it's a bad thing to have a spec bump. And I would anticipate a R2 as well. For quicker, because if I recall, the R1 does, it handles essentially all the camera feeds.
Yeah.
And so I think if you were to have that, then you can have higher refresh rate, hand tracking, everything tracking, right? Much higher rates, make it all smooth out better. So I could see that, and I feel like they would probably be paired together. I don't think you'd really have one without the other, or you wouldn't want to have the M2 or an M4 and an R1. Some of these articles I've been reading suggest the different straps, some more comfortable ones, and I get the impression a lot of them suggest that they wouldn't be compatible with the original Vision Pro, like if they did a different light seal or a different strap setup. But I can't imagine that either. So I would hope whatever they come out with, at least in terms of the ergonomics, is backwards compatible if they're going to do anything at all. Like if they do this at all, in a way, I almost don't want them to just release spec bump version, because I can envision the articles and even us talking about it when they do now. It's like Apple spec bumps Vision Pro. No one knows what to do with it still.
Yeah, well, that was essentially the comment on the article in Spiral that said,
Mhm.
"Oh, they're upgrading a device that nobody knows how to use and nobody purchased," which it was kind of a snarky article. Now,
Well, tongue in cheek.
yeah, we've thrown a lot out of there, and I do want to get back to the strap question. Dave, do you have things to add in terms of the processor and your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the processor, that makes sense. I think M4 would probably be the most would probably be the most logical of which processor they would go with. I can't imagine they would go right to the M5 right away because the M4 is current now. But why not? I mean, they didn't put the fast processor in right away when Vision Pro was released. So, but yeah, and then the strap, yeah, I can see it. I mean, I'm very happy with the Belkin head strap now that you recommended. I mean, it was out of stock for quite a while, but they got back in stock, so I got it. So that's made a big difference. But I think the back strap, yeah, I could see some better design. I think the one you had, Eric, was that was like the thin strap. I don't know if I would have liked that one.
Yeah,
Or not,
that was
but
the original dual loop, and as
okay.
long as it's really loose, almost to the point of telling you that it's too loose all the time, that seems to work well for me.
Oh, okay. Is that the one that came with it? I don't remember that being with us.
Yeah.
With it.
Yep.
Oh, it did.
You get two.
So there were two straps. Okay, I have to go back.
There was
and
a
box.
solo strap, and then the
Okay.
what do they call it?
The
Dual
dual
strap.
loop.
Dual loop.
Yeah. I'll have to figure. I'll have to check that out.
So, is an M4 enough for you? Is an M4 enough for people to purchase an upgrade?
For me, yeah.
Well, us enthusiasts probably.
I don't know for me, but I'm curious to hear why you guys would.
Just because.
What do you think the chance is that
Okay,
we
fair.
would get two? Well,
I'm just kidding.
well, there's a chance that it draws less power.
Yeah, there's that.
True.
Tiny chance. And then what's the chance that you could get two virtual displays?
Ooh. I would
Okay.
definitely need to upgrade my personal Mac for that.
Is there a possibility they're pushing the M5 as part of the rumor because that will be the thing that pulls in folks? Because there's a new processor on it, hasn't been revealed on any other device. I want the fastest car. I don't care. I don't want the
feel like
car that has the
only-
same engine that other people do. Yeah.
I feel
Sorry,
like
Daniel.
only if it's going to enable something new, that we can't do today, which is where really my eyes are more set on the R chip than the M chips. Because if they say bumped up the R chip, to me implies you can also start upgrading cameras, right? It won't not that
Yeah.
right, not that the image is very dark and the pass through is like dark, but it is like a step down than normal light. It's not as sharp, right? But if you can improve the camera processing and then you can put in better cameras, right? Like then you might need more compute to handle that, and then that would necessitate an M upgrade.
Yeah, but that means, why have a 5 in it that can do all these possible things, like maybe utilize or the R2, excuse me, utilize new cameras if you're not putting new cameras in it too? I mean, you're suggesting all of this stuff would be good, but then you're turning it into an actual Vision Pro 2 versus a Vision Pro 1 SE or whatever you want to call it.
That's fair, and there was no mention of camera upgrades, but that could be possible. But who knows?
So if there was an R2 upgrade, would that be a well, again, Daniel, your comments were it kind of depends on what you can do with it, and what's available for it if you do it. Straps. Will the new strap be available for us old timers who don't want to upgrade?
I would hope so. I mean, it's very possible. Knowing Apple, they probably wouldn't want to do it, but I would hope so.
It's a $3,500 strap. Anyone can buy it.
It just comes with a whole Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we have a show title. Thank you, Eric.
yes, we do.
Yeah, since there's no mention of any form factor change, I would expect that any light seal improvements we'd be able to use. The only potential questionable one would be the audio pods, since that's the mounting location for all the straps. So if that were different, then that could start making the straps not compatible. But if you look at a lot of the third-party facial interfaces, I suppose, like the Anna Pro, like any of the other ones like that, they are all really more oriented towards the light seal, not necessarily the strap. So we might still get a majority of the ergonomic gain if it's only if we couldn't use the strap, but we could use a new interface if they've come up with one.
Not to spread more rumors, but would they do something like say, okay, those of you who are paying $3,500 get the new strap, and the also rans won't get it, and the old timers won't get it for another 8 months when we put out the glasses or put something else out to take your money. Then the strap becomes less proprietary for one device.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent months trying to get that ResMed strap, the weighted ResMed strap, because it was just so out of stock. And I wonder whether or not we'd run into the same thing if Apple would delay putting new straps out to other users if they were compatible, or if there would be such a demand that you wouldn't get them anyways.
If they have new straps, they're going to be available within a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
because even with the original one, you could buy additional straps. They didn't get scarce until a little bit later, and then they showed up again. So,
and we're not talking about millions and millions of items. We're talking
yep,
500,000, in terms of that. Well, speaking of new straps, we've got a couple of articles out of Patently Apple. And they make such long titles to their articles. In a new patent application, Apple continues to work on a superior securement system for the next Vision Pro. And this comes from a Gurumer again.
Gurumer.
Mark Gurman on Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reported that Apple's nearing Vision Pro's first update will include a redesigned strap. But back in February, Patent Apple posted a report titled "Apple's is hell-bent on vastly improving comfort level on the Vision Pro headsets by introducing major improvements." And so it's one of two patents that people, Patently Apple, put out this week. And it shows a lot of circles and numbers and sliders. And I will go to the I'll go to the second article so we can take a look at it. And this one is a little bit more about the frame. And here's the title again. Apple has filed for a patent to advance Vision Pro's facial interface to enhance comfort and adaptability. And this looks more like a ski mask frame. So I don't know if it encompasses the light shield, but then it's got bands on it that seem to maybe tighten or loosen. Central
there's some
arm. Yeah. Go ahead, Daniel.
Weird, interesting ideas here, like on this facial interface one. It's interesting how they have all these different articulating arms within it to help even out weight or unevenly or evenly distribute weight. But I think these are interesting ideas. But what I see in that is a lot of moving parts, a lot of fiddly bits that doesn't feel very Apple. And like it seems like a lot to break. Kind of could be very fragile. And also, if it's that close to my face, like if it's that tight on my face where we need to have a real dynamic load distribution, I don't know. Like that seems like that seems like the wrong direction to go. Maybe if it let them have a single light seal skew instead of, is it like 30 something different light seal skews that you can have? If it led toward that, then I mean, I guess that would be a better preferred trade-off, to accept the fiddliness. But otherwise, I don't know.
That would make sense in a corporate one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so
when
you don't
I
have
look
to buy 300 options, and they're willing to buy 300 options to be able to let different people use it. So you could put a lot of money into a self-adjusting one.
Yeah, I'm looking at when I look at it, I see about $350 and probably a Apple Care for it. And with the idea that it would eliminate the light shield sort of things, and particularly it would be interesting if it had a way of correcting for guest mode. So a guest puts it on and they get a different experience. I'm starting to see cracks in my light shield, which means it will kind of slip on it. And I've switched different light shields because I bought one to fit my son's head and one to fit mine, and I have gone back to the original one. But I think it's also how I'm using the straps on it to get it seated. But it has slipped on me a little bit, or you'll see a line of light coming through the light shield because it's not seated properly with it.
I mean, this light shield. I'm finding that this thing was falling off a lot easier now. All of a sudden, is that something?
The cushion.
The cushion.
Yeah,
okay,
I took the cushions out that I had to take with me to Macstock, and they weren't black anymore. They were sort of like rubber dusty, if you know what I mean. The kind of rubber seal dusty. Yeah, and I took my thumb and kind of.
That looks okay by mine.
That looks good.
But it's still coming off very easy.
Yeah, you can order cushions.
Yeah,
these cushions. Okay. And they're not too bad.
Yeah,
I keep some extras.
Yeah, with mine, it seemed like because they were sitting in a drawer for a long period of time and not sealed onto a thing. I remember this when I was growing up. It was like rubber hoses in like automobiles, getting kind of like powdery on it, and that's what occurred with these. And so I cleaned them off, but it wasn't. It was just very strange. It was it looked like that had aged, and it might have been. There's magnets in those and such, so could have been an effect.
Well, obviously, Marty, the easiest solution is you were caught in a temporal loop, and your office has experienced an enormous amount of time, and that's what happened.
Obviously.
Yeah, I feel it too. It's aging me.
Well, luckily you were at Macstock, so you were saved.
Yeah. Well, I took those with me to Macstock, so maybe everybody's been
Oh, so it
affected.
happened before. Huh.
Yeah. So let's look at what I think is the fluff article of the week.
Okay.
Oh, great. The TikTok people want to strap on AR goggles, on your face.
The TikTok people.
Yeah. And the article talks about, first of all, I don't look at TikTok. I know.
How could
hope
you?
that I think that trend is kind of, the wave is kind of, we've gone through it at this point. According to the information, the air goggles, codenamed Phoenix, will have digital pass through, which is to say they'll have XR similars to what you might see on a Quest 3. They'll weigh just 100 grams. That's noticeably lighter than the Vision Pro and Meta Quest 3, which is 650 grams and 550 grams. Now, are they lighter because the material has no density? I mean, the stuff that you're looking at through TikTok goggles has no actual density. That was a joke, folks.
I see
Figure
what you
that
did
one out.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Go back
I
to
was
the
going to say,
article.
because is it lighter because it's vaporware?
Yeah. There's another good joke.
Yeah.
Then they start talking about costs. Of course, they don't talk about costs of what the Phoenix is going to be. I can't imagine, and I who knows what the platform is going to be for it, and if it's going to have its own OS or, but yeah, I want to watch TikTok videos through a headset. Does it add anything to the experience?
Well, ByteDance is a huge company. It's not surprising that they would get in on a headset at some point. Like, even if it seems strange, because for Americans, we really have only experienced ByteDance through TikTok,
Yeah.
but they are huge. So I guess I'm not terribly surprised. I mean, it sounds just as wacky to say Snapchat's making AR glasses, right? And they are. So I mean, if they are, I don't see why TikTok isn't. I think it's, to your point, it's all fluff to be like the TikTok company. No, it's ByteDance. They're a huge company. Not surprising in many ways. So
Yeah, I think the title of the article about the TikTok company is so people who don't know who ByteDance is are pulled into the article. Any other reaction to this?
Yeah. No.
Well, I just want to know if it's going to come with an M5 processor or an M4 processor, because that'll be the sales decision on my part. This was an interesting article. I think I'm going to share, and it's, I think, the last of our. No, we have two more, but brief. This article is helpful. Comes from Apple Magazine. Mastering the Vision OS virtual keyboard for Apple Vision Pro. It is a nice overview of how to use it and how it works. Where so a reader, from my point of view, can read through this and know how to do the stuff that you would expect to do with a virtual keyboard on the Vision Pro, including enhancing accessibility with VoiceOver, customizing keyboard settings, overcoming the limitations, and then tips for being productive with it in terms of the virtual keyboard. Eric, you're using it really for a work environment. Does anything feel good about this for you?
Well, I mean, their advice is actually pretty good. You know, if you're able to dictate to generate the text, yeah, it's a whole lot faster than trying to type a paragraph of text. In fact, typing a paragraph of text is painful enough. Sometimes I type it on a phone or iPad or whatever and select it and move it. But the voiceover stuff is accurate enough for a lot of things that works just fine. The only thing I didn't see them mention, and maybe it's because it's tied to the beta, the accuracy is a little bit better right now, and they did a have any of you tried typing in total darkness? Because the
I did a
keyboard
little bit
interface,
today, actually.
it changes when you're in total darkness. So, like the screens come a little closer to you. You can't push them as far away. And then the keyboard, when it comes up, there's kind of a glowy effect as you go to press the key. There's much, much more feedback, and your hand picks up almost a white glow as it's intersecting with the keyboard. So it's much easier to type. Like you get hints. It's almost like there's a hover effect as you're approaching the keyboard. And whereas in the original older versions of the OS, typing in the dark, it didn't work. So I was doing a bunch of typing last night, and it was amazing how much better it was.
Was this while you were staying up till 3 a.m?
Might have been.
So take a look at this if you're interested. It's a Apple Magazine article, Mastering the Vision OS Virtual Keyboard for Apple Vision Pro. All of the links that we talk about today and some that we haven't talked about will appear in the show notes. So you can find that in the podcast version or the video version. You'll find the article titles and the links within the show notes, and that'll help you out should you want to do it and follow through on stuff. Last article before we get into an app is Alien Earth, immersive environment coming to Disney Plus for Apple Vision Pro. And I think this is the second one from Disney that we talked about in the last couple of weeks, where they're adding different immersive environments into their platform or using Disney Plus. You know, it's always it started off with you can be in the Disney theater, and now they're adding other virtual environments. And I think we talked about one last week or 2 weeks ago, and now Alien Earth.
I hope there's like a 1 in 1 millionth chance for an Easter egg in it to appear, where you turn around and you have the alien in your face, like trying to it's trying to like attack your face.
Yeah, cool. Scare the little kids.
No.
Starting from July 24th, Disney Plus subscribers can enter the containment room environment. Set aboard the USCSS. What do those initials stand for? Maganaut. It will contain active elements, including the show's universe, providing appropriate place for users to be while they watch the premiere of Alien Earth. Great. So if you're looking for nightmares,
this sounds no. But now
Dave,
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, Dave, are you an Aliens fan?
Is this Resident Alien you're talking about?
No, it's not Resident. Well, I mean Aliens like Ridley Scott Alien.
No, I'm not into that. No.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, well,
I can't comment on that.
Yeah, let me suggest you skip the environment, particularly if they're going to be face suckers jumping at you. At least 1 in a million, as Daniel suggested. Okay, guys, let's looking at the time and let's look at this next one. Daniel, you have something about the Gathering Simulator, and I'll throw it on WebView, and it's Mana Forge. Go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah, I saw this actually on Reddit a little while ago, actually just this evening. It's a Magic the Gathering, I guess, just a game, a simulation. You can download decks and play it. So for any Magic the Gathering fans, you might be interested to try it out. I tried it out for a little while. I would say it's very how to say proof of concept with respect to like an AR board game, card game in your real space. It works. It's interesting. I wouldn't want to try to play in the current implementation, but just fooling around with it and seeing like how it was implemented was interesting and cool to see. If anything, actually made me think more about what I would want to see, because I'll know a lot of people thought of like board games and stuff in AR, and your initial thought is the same thing, but AR, right? Like you do in the physical space. And in many ways, I would say this is a good proof of concept of that. And then I feel like I immediately discover, oh, this isn't actually maybe the best way to do this, right? Like, cool, my card hand is like I can see it on the table or whatnot, but that's actually kind of uncomfortable because I got this headset on and I have to go and peer over and look at the table, look at the playboard, which is still cool that it there and is existing in AR. But yes, I wouldn't call this a complete app. It's really more of a proof of concept, but I thought it was really interesting in the first one, at least I had seen, that was of Magic the Gathering, which I know there's a lot of nerds who like Magic the Gathering. Actually, I like Magic the Gathering too. I haven't been able to get into it for a long time. But yeah, it's called Mana Forge. It's free. Try it out, and
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay boards that when I'm looking at the pictures in here, there's not a lot of details on it. It does look, if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, it does look like something that you'd want to play with. It would be interesting to be able to do kind of multiplayer aspects of this. If you could do that, that might be the next step where this thing needs to grow. And then people could meet virtually online to be able to, or virtually with their Vision Pro headsets to be able to play the game. This is like 3 generations past me. And like Pokemon would be like a 4th generation past me in terms of that. I never got into this is a demeaning way of saying it, nerd games. Because that was part of the, that was not part of the generation that I grew up in, and even games that were board games that became nerd games.
even Dungeons and Dragons.
No, I didn't do D&D either. No.
Wow.
My nephew was into that. My brother, who was older than me, used to do D&D with his kids. But no, sorry.
Oh.
And I feel like I've had a cultural loss because I don't know them or get them, even though I didn't play them. So yeah.
All right.
Dave,
I know
did you
what
do
I'm
any of
bringing
this stuff?
I know what I'm bringing for Macstock
I didn't. No.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel, you're laying a spell down, I guess. What would you?
Yeah, I probably just accidentally made a commitment.
Wow, a whole session on that. I wonder how that's going to work in front of everybody.
Not a session. This would be an after hours thing.
Oh, this would be a campaign.
Oh,
Get it right.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have quite a few Pokemoners there. I know that.
You are right,
Okay.
though, about that display. You know, like it's a redesign. There are a couple other games that have that same problem where it's too the functionality is too real world when you've got a lot more, a lot more flexible interface. You could still, I think, having the real world setup makes sense, but you should be able to move it over to a table and park it there, and then basically play in front of you in the air, because gravity isn't real, so you can just park the stuff in a convenient, easy to see way. And even if when you go to play something, it mirrors it on the realistic table view, you should still be able to see it in front of you.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know,
call
and
it like the naive implementation, right? Like that's just the first thing you thought of, and then you do it, and you're like, "Oh, there's some usability here. That's strange." Like, like if you were playing a card game for real, you're holding the cards in your hand. So that's actually what I want in AR. I want to be able to like flick my hand up, open palm, and like boom, there they are, right? And then I can just kind of grab it and maybe throw
Oh
it or
yeah,
something, right? Like you could in real life, but
yeah.
y-
I remember in reviewing some of the upgrades with the OS, one of the functionality things that they talked about, and it might have even been uh, Apple talking about this, was that they were adding at the last developer conference, not the one we just had, they're adding in situations where you can create platforms and you can attach things to platforms. And that's what this game reminds
Hmm.
me of, and other games that I've seen. It's sort of like developers jumped on that and said, okay, now I can have a floating game board or whatever, and I can put
yeah,
objects and
Mhm.
attach objects into it.
yeah, tabletop kit.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so it's interesting. It's an interesting implementation of this. So I think that'll be a wrap for tonight. Um,
Yeah.
you folks who were up way late last night and didn't sleep during the day, have a good rest tonight. But I want to tell you a little bit. I want to tell you Macstock. If you're still interested in it, you can pick up a virtual ticket, which means for around 99 bucks, you can see all the videos that were shot of all the presentations. They'll roll those out in a month, but you can get your virtual ticket and see the presentations that were put on. And they were good presentations. They were really good presentations. And some of them kind of, I'm looking forward to looking at the presentations again because some of them went so deep. It's like I can't possibly absorb all this, but I know I can go back to the virtual ticket and look at the presentations again and take them a little slower so I can figure out what they're doing. So it's a good, if you weren't there, it's the next best thing. In some ways, there's some good parts about it. But if you were there, you get the virtual ticket too as part of the assembly. So check that out.
It is.
Vi- yeah.
The price did go up. It's $149 now.
Oh, it's $149 now. Okay. So
Yep.
pre-conference it was 99, but now it's 149. Um,
I
and
it may not have. He may not have had this posted. The $99 was last year's.
oh, okay.
So
All right.
just
So
pause.
it's
I'm
now,
pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Still a good deal in terms
Yeah. Oh,
of getting
absolutely.
all the training. Yeah. I was a little slack on Vision Pro Notes this week only because of the traveling and the exhaustion, and I didn't have free time to start searching through articles actually until today. But you can you can look forward to Vision Profile starting again on, or Pro Notes, excuse me, starting again on a Wednesday, where I'll pick up any of the news that comes up over the next couple of days, and then again Friday morning, and then again next Monday morning, as sort of a precursor to the show that will cut next Monday night. And Eric will be here in full persona, creepy headspace for the thing.
It's
What,
not
Eric?
creepy anymore. The
Okay.
glasses have, little side things.
Oh,
It's
okay,
not
that
the
makes
little
it even better.
floating glasses in front of
Yeah.
you. So it's good now.
Yeah.
I just think
Anyways,
that we should be able
You
to
can even have
tweak it so
turtle
that, you know, all
shell.
my hair comes in.
yeah, pro notes will be part of your feed, so look for those starting up again, and we'll keep you up with what's come out in the last couple of days with each pro note, and get you ready for the next Monday show. So, where can we find everybody, David? Where can we find you?
You could find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com, YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios. Here on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights, I'm on Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner and Eric and Marty and many others. Our show records on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And sometimes I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network on Fridays. And I'm Mastodon and Blue Sky. It's at DaveG65. Thanks, Marty.
Eric, where can we find you besides here? Yawning. Oh, this is a
I'm going to
great.
be taking a short nap.
Yeah,
You
that is
asked me
not
where I
being
was going to
edited
be,
out of the
and it's all
show.
I can think of. A short nap, just a few minutes. That's all. Yeah. Um, and then I'm gonna go find my reading glasses because So yes, I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. Mondays, of course, here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices. Uh, Thursdays on In Touch with iOS. So you get your Vision OS, Mac OS, and iOS, iPad OS, and some more Vision OS, and yeah, a fully balanced diet of all of the OSs.
Wow,
And but
where's your
most of all,
Linux
you
and
get
Windows?
most of all you get Eric OS, which would be Ericos, if you want to say. Daniel, I know
Uh,
you might not have a large digital presence or footprint. Is there any way people can get in touch with you if you want
I
them
do.
to?
I oh, if I want them to. Okay, never mind. No. I do have a Blue Sky. It's at IO Expander. And otherwise, I'm on here every once in a while.
Can you say that Blue Sky again?
Yeah, IO Expander, like input, output,
Output
expander.
expander at Blue
IO
Sky.
Expander. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in. We love to hear from our listeners. If you have ideas or want to join an episode, email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn more about us and Vision Profile Podcast on our website, thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.